ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 6th chapter, beginning from verse number 27. Yes, 27, right? So, Sri Maitreya is continuing to describe the creation, how in the beginning Lord he empowered the material nature with his time energy and the Chit Shakti in the form of the Jivas, and that made a transformation, and first the various material elements became manifest, but they were not able to combine together to form a body. So then the elements, they prayed to the Lord, and then Lord entered into them simultaneously, and then a cosmic being was manifested, that is Virata Purusha, and then he lied in the waters for 1000 divine years, and after that there was further manifestation. The various limbs in the human body became manifest. So this is basically how the various parts in the human body are formed, and what are their functions, and what are the presiding deities. There were 3 divisions which were made: Adhyatmic, Adhidavik and Adhibhautik. So Adhidavik refers to the deities, Adhibhautik to the sitting places of the senses and the sense objects, Adhyatmic to the senses themselves. And then he described one by one, beginning from the mouth, and then the tongue and the nostrils and so on. And in the end he talked about mind, intelligence, ahankara and chitta, the heart, and their functions. And now he describes the formation of the various planets, because these living beings have to reside somewhere and perform their activities. So various planets became manifest. And that's what this verse says, verse number 27. Srishnasya Dyaurdhara Padbhyam Kham Nabherudpadyata Gunanam Vrittayo Yeshu Pratiyante Suradayaha. So he says that from his head came the heavenly planets, Dyav, and from the feet came the earth, and from the navel middle region came the sky in between the earth and the heavenly planets. And this is according to the gunas. Gunanam vrittayo yeshu pratiyante suradaya. As it will be explained in the verse below, that according to the sattva, rajas and tamas, then the different beings, they resided in them. The devas or the suras who are in sattva guna, they are in the heavenly planet. Human beings who are in the rajaguna, they are on earth. And then there are some other beings like pretas, hosts of goblins. They are in tamaguna and they are in between the open sky. And they can travel here and there, free floating. So that's in the next verse. It says, Atyantikena sattvena divam devaha prapedire. The devatas, they are in very high sattva, atyantik sattva. So they are in the divam, means the heavenly planet. Dharam rajaha sabhavena paniyo yecha tanana. And on earth there are people who are called pani. Pani means those who do business in their hand. Pani is actually vyavahar, business. So they are in the rajas, they are the human beings. And then those who help them, like cows, dogs, they are also the human beings. Tan anu means who are doing welfare to the humanity. And Tartiyena Svabhavena Bhagwan Nabhim Ashrita Obhyor Antaram Vyome Ye Rudra Parshadagana. And the third, who have the nature of the third guna, which is tamas, the guna of ignorance, they are in between the earth and the heaven. And they are taking shelter from the lotus navel of the Lord. And they are the associates of Rudra, Rudra Parshadagana. So these are the bhutas and pretas. So this is three types of planetary system and three types of living beings in them. And then next he is going to describe how the varnas, the four varnas, they are manifested from the Lord's body, this cosmic being. So here Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Trilokotpatti Maha Srishna iti, that he is now describing the three planetary systems, above, middle and down. Vrittaya Parinama. Vritti refers to the modifications, such everything came out from him. Atyantikena urjitena pranante yagadina vyavaranti paniyo manushya pan vyavahare. So he says that the demigods, they have very high class of sattva and they live in the heaven. Because those people who are in sattva, they don't want to do work. Sattva means peaceful, not seeing variety, meditating, being situated in knowledge. That is sattva. Sattva people cannot do business or engaging in high work. So demigods are like that. So they are waiting that somebody will do sacrifice, some swaha for them. So they get diet from that, and then they are happy with it. Then there are people who are in rajas, and people in rajas, they have to work. So these are human beings. So the distinctive feature of human beings is two hands, and that is for doing work. Because animals, they don't have hands. So they are called here as pranaya, because he describes here that this word pranaya comes from the root pani, which means to exchange, to give and take. So what is the give and take? It says yagadina vyavaranti pranayo manushya. It says pranaya means human beings, and they are doing vyavahar. Business means that you give something and you take something in exchange. So business is exchange. So what is the exchange human beings do? They do the exchange of karma. That they perform karma, and then they get the fruit from that. So therefore Krishna says karmanyeva adhikaraste. Of course he is denying the phala. Na phale sukadasana. Na phale sukadasana. So human beings have the right to act. In fact, it's their responsibility. He's saying adhikara means this is their qualification. This is their eligibility to act. That's why they are called panaya. Because they are doing action, karma, and then they get the fruit of that. In other species of life, they are not doing karma. The demigods don't create karma. The ghost beings also are not creating karma. So pana vyavahare, the root pan means to exchange. Pan anuvartante ye te upkaran bhuta gavadayaste api dharam prapedira. And then there are those who follow them in the sense that they are instruments for human beings, such as the cows, gavadaya. Because in olden days in India, the main karma was doing yajna. As Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, Saha yajna praja sreshva purovacha prajapati anena prashvadhyameshu vasti ishta kamduk. That if you want to fulfill your desire, then what do? Now you try to get money. In olden days, at least in India, there was a different system. That if they want to fulfill their desire, they do yajna. This was another system which is forgotten now. Now we only know that if you want something, you need money. So previous days they had another. At that time also they had money. It's not they were not having exchange, was to be done. But the main goal was not earning money. They realized that even if you want money, you do yajna, then the money will come. You do sacrifice for getting wealth also. Lakshmi Puja or Indra Yajna. So this was their belief. Krishna came and he stopped it. The people were, Brajvasis were also doing yajna for Indra. They said Indra is sending rain, so let's do yajna. So Krishna stopped it. So what is the point in burning ghee in fire? You should cook something nice in fire and then offer and eat. That is better. And then God will supply him. But he also was pleasing the Lord and then getting the supplies. Because originally when the universe was created, it is He who created, and He is the source of everything. Now we are born as human beings, now also we can get our needs fulfilled. So this is the purpose of this description, that now humanity thinks that forget about God and you work hard to maintain yourself. So they are working very hard, and all over the world there is economic crisis. Everybody, whomever you talk to, person is in economic crisis. Previously it was not like that. People did not know what is economic crisis, because they will get their needs. Whatever they want to, it will come. So now it is difficult to understand this system, because we are born in a different system and we understand only the present system, that you get a job, make money and get things. And that is the only way I can get my supplies. So the human beings, they were doing karma, which means sacrifice, please the gods, as Krishna says, anena praswadhvamesha voisti ashta kamadha, that you do this yajna and satisfy yourself. Because these demigods which we are reading, these devatas of different elements, they will supply your need. You want gold, that was also available, or something else. Tritiyam tamas tadiyena tamsena ityartha. The third one is the tamasa. Ye rudra parshadam bhutadinam ganaste bhagavato virajo nabhim ashrita ityam. So there are the associates of Rudra, which are called bhutas, or the ghosts, and they are taking their shelter from the navel of this Virat Purusha, the cosmic being, because they are neither on earth nor in the heaven, and they like company of Lord Shiva very much. So these are specifically the Ganas, because Lord Shiva, he says Rudra Parshada, means Parshad means an assembly. The people who sit in an assembly, they are called Parshad. Parshada is assembly. So it does not mean that anybody who goes to sit with Lord Shiva becomes a ghost. So therefore the word Gana is used, that these are the specific associates of Shiva. Nabhineva ka tatraha, says where is the navel? It says Ubhayor Deva Prithivyor Antram Madhyam Vyome Akasam Bhuvar Loka. So this is the Bhuvar Loka. In Gayatri they have Bhu, Bhuvar and Swa. These three Vyaharitis are there in Gayatri mantra. So these three Vyaharitis are referring to this, that the Lord who is pervading all these three. So the space in between earth and heaven is called Bhuvar Loka. And then there is a Bhuloka and Swarloka. So these people are in the space in between. And next he describes the four Varnas. Because the society is divided into the four classes according to the nature of people. Varna means that describes you. Whatever gives a description, Varnan, that is called Varna. Means if you ask somebody who are you and he says he is a doctor, so that is his Varna. Means that is his qualification, expertise, and he works as a doctor. And Krishna says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha, that I created the four Varnas on the basis of Guna, means qualification, and the Karma, the action. So So if somebody is a doctor, means he has the qualification to treat patients, and he is also acting like that. So that becomes the varna for that person. So originally there are only 4 varnas which are described here on the basis of 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. So out of 3 they became 4 because of the combination of rajas and tamas, because tamas and sattva cannot combine. So then it became 4. And the first one is the Brahmana. Mukhato avartata brahma purushasya kurudvaha yastun mukhata tvad varnana mukhya bhut brahmano guru. He says that from the mouth of the Lord appeared the Vedas, and that is the activity of the people who came from the mouth. So Brahmanas were born from the mouth of the Lord. Brahmanavasya mukhamasi. In the Purushutta, it is said that Brahmana is the mukha, the mouth. And the Vedas are also coming. It says, Bahobhyo avartata brahma purushasya kurudva. So vritti means the job. So first the job is created by the Lord, and then the varna. Means the mean of sustenance comes first, then the person. A child is born. When child is born, there is milk for him in the breast. So immediately it is there. That means if we are existing and we perform our duty properly, then we will not lack our sustenance in our life. We don't have to struggle. Now humanity is just struggling to exist. Basically that's all they are doing, working very hard, doing even 2 jobs, and only to survive. But actually survival is not a problem. If we perform our duty, and if we don't do our duty, then you have to find some other. God has given us one duty. If we engage in that, then survival is not a problem. If you don't engage in that duty, then you look for another duty. And the whole world is open for you. And he is not responsible. So in these 4 verses, there is description of the creation of 4 varnas, and all the 4 duties came first into existence, then the varna came into existence. Mukhato avartata Brahma. Avartata means that vritti became manifest, means the job, and that is in the form of Brahma Veda Purushasya Kurudva, for the person. And who is this? Yastu unmukhatvad varna nam mukhya, because he is his face is up, unmukha. Unmukha is also meaning that his face is turned towards the Vedas. There are 2 words in Sanskrit, unmukha and paranmukha. So these people, they are unmukha means they are favorable to the Vedas or Vedic knowledge, to Brahma. And therefore they are called mukhya, or the chief among the human beings. Mukhya means prime. And why the word mukhya means prime? Because mukhya comes from the word mukha, which means the mouth. So they are prime because they come from the mouth and they study the Vedas. For that reason he says mukhya abhut brahmana. that Brahmana is the prime in humanity and he is Guru, Brahmana Guru. So why Brahmana is prime person or prime Varna in humanity? Because they study the Brahma or the Vedas. Brahmani sthita iti Brahmana, that who is situated in the Vedas, or Brahmajanati iti Brahmana, who knows the Vedas, he is called a Brahmana. And because he knows the Vedas, therefore he is Guru. So Guru comes from the Sanskrit root Gri, which means two things. There are two Gri roots in Sanskrit. One is Gri Shabda and one is Gri Nigarani. One is to speak and one is to swallow. So he speaks means he gives knowledge, and he is also fed. Mouth does two things, isn't it? We do two things. We speak from the mouth and we eat. So therefore Brahmana was always fed in India. Hindu Brahma Bhoj, invite Brahmanas for feasting. Why? Because they came from the mouth. Krishna says in, I think it is in 3rd Canto somewhere, where Lord Kapila says that he is more pleased when we feed nice things cooked in ghee to a Brahmana than pouring ghee into the fire. Because fire is also mouth of the Lord. We read yesterday that fire was in the mouth. That was the first thing. Tasya agni rasyam nirbhinnam lokpalo avishitkaram, right? Fire came from the mouth, and that is the place in the cosmic form. This place for fire is the mouth. So fire is also mouth of the Lord. That's why sacrifice is done into the fire, and it is just like feeding the Lord. But feeding a Brahmana is even more close to his mouth, because Brahmana also feeds from his mouth. And we can get a feedback from the Brahmana when you feed the fire. We are not sure what happened. But fire is also a deity, he is a person. I saw one video, there is one person in South India, and he does not eat for like so many days, and then he does fire sacrifice, and then he goes inside the fire, and the fire does not burn him. He has become so friendly with fire that he goes inside, burning, blazing fire, and then nothing happens. And then he comes out, he's pouring ghee into the fire, then he goes himself, then he comes out. But it's a very austere thing which he does. He has to chant mantra for so many thousands of times, fast for so many days, and then the whole ritual takes 6-7 hours. But he demonstrated that how fire does not burn him. Even he has a long beard, and he goes into the fire and it doesn't burn. So it is amazing. So fire is also the mouth of the Lord. And therefore when we read stories in the Puranas that fire god appeared or fire god did not burn, or the story about Prahlad that fire did not burn Prahlad when Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill him. So these are not false stories, it is real, because there is a deity of fire, and if that deity decides not to burn, then it will not burn. Fire can become cool. So for that reason Brahmana is called a Guru, because he gives knowledge and he also accepts food for the pleasure of Krishna. Or nigirne, to swallow, means he also takes away or swallows your ignorance. That's why his guru gives knowledge and takes away your ignorance. He eats up ignorance. That is the meaning of guru. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Chatur Varne Utpattim Aha. That now he describes the creation of 4 Varnas. Brahma Veda. The word Brahma here means Vedas, not the Brahman. Purushasya Parameswarene Ekyatasya Mukto Avartata Abhut. So from the mouth of the Purusha, Purushasya Mukto Avartata, then this Vedas became manifest. Yastu Unmukhatvat Vedat Mukhatvat Hetor Varnana Mukhyo Guruscha Bhut Brahmana Soapi Mukto Avartata iti Anusanga. And then one whose Unmukha also means whose face is up, means he has to speak. That's why he is called Unmukha. Or his face is towards the Vedas. Or he is number 1 among the Varnas. So for that reason he says that he is Mukhya, he is prime, and he is called Brahma. He also became manifest. So this signifies that the vritti or the duty, job of the Brahmana is actually to study Vedas. That is the most important thing. So Patanjali wrote Mahabhasya, and this Mahabhasya is a commentary on the Panini's Sutra of Sanskrit grammar. It's a very wonderful commentary. In the beginning he writes, why should one study grammar? So he gives 8 reasons. And one of them is that a Brahmana has to study Veda without any reason. He says, Niskarano Vedo Patitavya. He says that a Brahmana has to study Veda not for any reason, just because he is a Brahmana, so he has to study Veda. Not for making money, not for anything. And if you have to study Veda, you need grammar. He says, therefore grammar has to be studied. And specifically uses the word Niskarana, because he is born for that only. Brahmanasya dehoyam nachudra kamaya kalpate. Says the body of a Brahmana is not meant for petty things like making money. No. Bhagavatam says that Brahmana's body is meant to do austerities and study the Vedas. So that's why he is given so much importance in the scriptures. So the Vedas, they come out from the mouth, the Brahmanas also come out from the mouth, and the purpose is that when the Brahmanas are there, they study the Vedas, then they can guide the humanity. Then humanity does not have to suffer, because Vedas give us the knowledge how to make our life successful. And this was the culture of India originally. That's why it was called Brahmanical culture, because it was based on this principle that just human life is not meant for doing just sense gratification, but study the Vedas. And therefore this class of people was reserved only for knowledge. That means out of 4 classes of human beings, one class was created by God only to preserve and propagate knowledge. If that knowledge is not there, then we are in darkness, as is the situation now with the humanity. Then they really don't know what to do and what not to do. So there is so much confusion. Although so much knowledge is available now on internet that you can spend your whole life searching it or surfing the net, and you will never get out of the net. Because it is so big now that you can completely get lost in the net and not know how to get out of it. It's like the Chakravyuha made by Dronacharya. So Abhimanyu entered into it, did not know how to come out. So now this net has been created by Google. So you can go inside, everybody knows how to enter, but no one knows how to come out of it. So then you will be killed by Jadrath, who is just sitting inside this. So you get Googled. In cricket they have, in India cricket is a very popular game, and there is one style of throwing the ball, it is called googly. So only the best players know how to handle this googly. Mostly when the bowler will throw the googly, means the guy is gone. It's very difficult to play it because it comes so close to you. You have to hit the ball either in the air when it is coming to you, or you have to hit it when it has hit the ground and it jumps off the ground. There are only two ways. But this ball, when it comes, it's so difficult to decide whether to hit it in the air or hit it out. So in between, and there's not much time to take decision, so then they lose. Either it will hit their leg or it will take the wicket off. They're out. So that is the googly of the internet now. So that's why Brahminical culture was so great, because it guided the humanity. That's why it was called the head. Brahmana was considered as the head of the society, as we have in this body, the head. Mouth signifies the whole thing above. And if that was kept proper, then everything was alright. And if the head is disturbed, then other three people down the line, they are completely lost. So then the next one is Kshatriya. Says Bahubhyo vartat kshatram kshatriyas tadanubrataha yo jatas trayate varnan paurushah kantaka kshatat. Says from the arms of the cosmic being, first the power to protect manifested. So always first is the vritti, the duty comes, and then Kshatriya came. So why Kshatriya is called a Kshatriya? Because he says Trayate Kantaka Kshatat. Kantaka means thorn. It's like if you are walking barefoot, then you get a thorn, you are walking, you have to stop. There is a break and you are walking. So Kantaka or thorn is an obstacle in your movement. And then Kantaka is not only that it breaks your speed, but also wounds in the foot. So that is called Kshata. Kshata means a wound. It will pierce and the blood is coming. So Kantaka Kshata means two things, that it is creating an obstacle and it is wounding you. So a Kshatriya is that who protects from that. Trayate. Therefore he is called Kshatriya. Kshatat Trayate iti Kshatriya. So a Brahmana is busy studying the Vedas, but he may have obstacles. And he studied, there are also other beings, tamasic. There are also animals or tamasic people are there. So if they disturb, then it is the duty of Kshatriya to protect. Because Kshatriya is going to get knowledge from the Brahmana. In exchange, he has to give protection. So this is the social system. And some people have written books on the study of nature. They have this, that you study the nature and then you can learn so many things, and it is a fact. Because in the olden days, people were very close to nature. They will study the nature and learn from it. So if we study even our human body, how the face or the head and the hand and the legs, they are cooperating with each other and performing their functions, then this society is also like a body. It can also function in the same manner. But then people have to do their duty without any hidden motive. And that is only possible if the head is right. And if head is not right, then nothing can function. So at present, we don't have leaders in the society. The so-called leaders, they are not really leaders, because leader means one who leads. And one who leads must have proper vision. If there are some people walking behind you, then you should have proper eyes to see in front of you. And if the leader is blind, then andhair yatha andha upniyamana. Upanishad says, Kathopanishad, that blind is leading the blind. So then what do you expect from that? So leader means who has vision. And vision can come only if one has knowledge. Because it's not physical eyes, but the eye of knowledge. And that has to come from the Brahmanas. And if the Brahmanas themselves have become blind, then there is no chance. So now everybody is just basically blind. Brahmana, Kshatriya, and therefore they are not doing their job properly. So he says that Kshatriyas tad anuvrata, that he follows this power of Kshatra for protecting. And yo jata, when he was born, trayate varnan. And varnan here is in plural, means he gives protection not only to the Brahmanas but to the other Varnas also, to Vaishya and Sudra. This is the main duty of Kshatriya, so that everybody can perform their respective duties without obstacle. When we perform certain duty, some job, not only that we have to know how to do the action properly, we also must know that if something breaks down, how to take care of that. If you are driving your car, you have to know how to drive it. But something breaks down, then you must know how to fix it. There may be obstacle. The road is broken, then you should know how to take a detour. So this is the job of Kshatriya, to help the other three Varnas from obstacles, keeping them free from disturbances. In the society, various types of problems come, so they have to do that. Kshatram Palana Shakti. They say Kshatra here means the Shakti or power to protect, to maintain. So as Vishnu, he is called maintainer. Vishnu Shakti hi Palani. Just as Shiva destroys and Brahma creates, the power of Lord Vishnu is to protect, to maintain. So this is Kshatriya's also job, because he follows this power of protection. Therefore kings were considered as representative of Vishnu, because they maintain. Tadanubratas tanmukha. So they are unmukha towards this power of Palana Shakti. Just like the Brahmanas, they were devoted to the Vedas. Kshatriya is devoted to the power of protection. He, as a Brahmana, will get Vedic knowledge, he will study. That is the meaning of being devoted to the Vedas. He will give his life to study the Vedas. So Kshatriya, he will develop power. He will earn power for protection. Kshatriyopi bahubhyo avartata. And he was born from the arms of the Lord. Because arm signifies power to protect. We have to protect, we need our hands. Kantakas choradayos tebhyo yat. Kantaka, which literally means thorn, says could be thieves, dacoits, plunderers, all these types of people. Yat kshatam upadrava. And kshata or wound here means the disturbance caused by them. Tasmat trayate rakshati. So he protects. Paurusha purushasayam. Why? Because he has paurusha. So paurusha means the power of the Lord. Purusha is Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Paurusham Nrishu. I am the paurusha in human beings. So here specifically the Kshatriyas have this Tadiya Palan Shakti Matvat, because they have the power to protect, which is coming from the Lord. This power is also coming ultimately, like the Vedas, they are coming from the Lord. The power to protect is also coming from the Lord. So one should not become egoistic that I have the power, like King Vena in Bhagavatam. He declared himself as the supreme. So that was his mistake. Therefore he has to be thrown out from his position. Then the third one, Visho avartanta tasyorvo loka vritti karir vibho vaishyastadudbhavo vartam nirnamya samavartayat. Then from the thighs of the Lord came Visha or business. And this is the Loka Vritti or the maintenance. And here maintenance is in the sense of wealth coming from the Lord. And from that thighs was born the Vaishya. Vaishyas were born from the thighs. Tasya urvo loka vritti karir vibho Vaishya tadudbhavo vartam nirnamya samartate. And he is the one who feeds everybody. So previously it was the duty of the Vaishyas to make arrangements for food, milk, butter, etc. Krishi Goraksha Vanijya. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the job of Vaishya is farming and cow protection and business. So farming is very important because first thing is food. Then you need cow because you have to perform sacrifice. So you need ghee and milk. So that comes from the cow. And then third is Vanijya, because everything is not growing everywhere. So Vanijya basically was that you make sure that things are distributed properly according to the requirement. And in between they make some profit because they are doing it and they have to maintain. So this was the original purpose of Vaishya or business. Not just making billions of dollars and engaging thousands of people and then suddenly kicking them away and now they are fired. So that was not the purpose in the olden days. So Vaishya was very important also. Why do you think is very important? Because they are the one who are supplying the needs of the society. Everything depends on them. The Brahmana has to depend on them, the Kshatriya also, the Sudra also, because they give the food. So that's why they were called Shrestha. These days you heard this word Set or Sethi many times. Sethi or Sethi or Shreshthi. So this actually comes from the Sanskrit word Shrestha. From Shrestha it becomes Set or Sethi or Chatti. In South India if you go you will find Chattis or Chattiyar. So they are all basically the business people. The word is coming from Shrestha. So they were considered as Shrestha. Shrestha means the best or topmost. So why? Because they are like the mother, supplying nourishment to the whole society. They are the one who gave donation because they only had money. Kshatriyas were taxing. They did not have money. Brahmanas were poor. It's only the Shreshthis, the Vaishyas who had money. So then naturally they had the power. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Vishaha Krishyadi Vyavashaya. Visha here means the business power, such as, and business does not just business, it includes also farming. So anything by which one produces food or wealth, that is called Vyavashaya in Sanskrit, or business. Urvoho Urubhyam. So from the thighs, Lokanam Vrittikari Jivika Hetavaha. So from the thighs of the Lord, two things came, because from each limb, from the mouth also to Veda and the Brahmana. For the arms, power to protect, and the Kshatriya. From the thighs came business and the Vaishya also. So therefore he says that Vrittikari Jivika Hetava, the means for survival. Because everybody has to eat, and that means came from his thighs. Tadudbhava urubhava varta jivikam yasvavritya samavartet sampaditvan. So by that varta, by that jivika, the means of sustenance, the Vaisyas existed and they took care of everyone else. So just as Brahmanas, they were responsible for giving knowledge to the whole society. Kshatriyas were responsible for protecting the whole society. In the same way, Vaishyas were responsible for supplying food to the whole society. So this was the cooperation among the different classes. And then everybody had time to perform their duties properly for the pleasure of the Lord. So I will stop here, and next we will read about Shudra. And it is so amazing that we think that Shudras are the lowest, but Bhagavatam will say that they are the best. So actually there was no such thing that this is high, this is low. They are all important. But as time passed and the knowledge was lost, then degradation came in the system.
They're all the best.
All the best. Because without one, the other three are useless. And then you become handicapped.
What means coming from the thighs for the Vaishya?
It's the power to to do business comes from this part of the cosmic being.
Anyway, from the understanding that the head is the best part of the body or something. And
Yeah,
feet.
everybody's best, head is best, Kshatriya is also best because they are kings, they rule, so everybody's under their control. And West is also best because they are supplying. And Shudra, he says, is the only one who pleases Lord Hari. He is the best. He is the best of the best.
So, in what kind of category the doctor fits in, like an Ayurvedic doctor? Was he
Brahmana.
Brahman?
It's part of Ayurveda.
How far can you carry that concept? Because how far can you carry that concept? Like a doctor is considered a Brahmana because that knowledge comes from the Vedas. But all knowledge comes from the Vedas.
Yeah, because he is studying. The Kshatriya is not studying Ayurveda.
No, you're mentioning just Ayurveda, but isn't it that all knowledge, like Jyotish and so many things?
Yeah, so that Jyotish, therefore it is Brahmanas who were studying Jyotish also. They were all Brahmanas, astrologers, doctors. This was Brahmanas. I mean, in everyone there are then grades. Those who are studying the pure Vedas philosophy, they are higher Brahmanas. Those who are doing this Ayurvedic job, and they are not considered as higher Brahman.
And also for protecting, you needed a lot of knowledge. And also for protecting cows, protecting plants. Isn't that a
Yeah,
lot?
but the knowledge you have to get from the Brahmanas.
Yeah.
They will study and teach.
Okay.
Knowledge you have to get from somewhere. It's not that you go to internet and you read. Previously there was no internet. So everybody has to go to the Brahmana to learn. Even if you have to learn how to fight, you go to the Brahmana and learn. The Vaishyas were also studying from the Brahmanas. Chanakya wrote Arthashastra, but Chanakya was a Brahmana. Arthashastra means the book of economy and of course also how to rule.
But you say something like that about the understanding about having an understanding from the plant or something, you say?
Nature.
The nature, yeah. To have some direct link with the nature.
Yeah, also how nature is working, because nature is very organized in
Yeah, by
itself.
observing, then you
So
can.
you can also learn from that.
Mm.
This whole thing is actually learning from nature, how Prakriti is manifesting.
It was a very interesting concept that you brought up, that the means of livelihood comes into existence first, before the actual, let's say, role of acting in that capacity. You know, that if one's duty, let's say, can be ascertained, and one adheres to that duty, that there's no question that the maintenance is going to be there.
Yeah, it's also like there is a company, then first there is a job, then they advertise, and they recruit the person. So actually the job is there first before the person comes. And if the person has the power to do it, because here what they are saying is that this power is coming and these people are devoted to this power. So means not only that they have the qualification, but they also have the interest to act like that. So they are born from that particular, from wherever this power is born, they are also born from that. Means they have the same guna. And then they also act accordingly. So the karma is also similar. So that is the meaning that anuvrata and unmukha is said for that. So now also same thing can be applied. That if I have a certain nature, means I have that power, I am born with it. So I develop that. And then accordingly I work. So then that will give me success. Because the ultimate thing is we have to come to realize ourselves. And this is one way of realizing that you achieve perfection in one particular field. And ultimately all perfections are coming from God, because He is the most perfect person. So that's why in the Vedas, if you see that whether it is Jyotish Veda or Ayurveda or music or Natya Shastra, dancing, singing, all they are actually linked with God. And if you read book on say music, then they will say that the music will lead you to God. If you read a book on Natya Shastra, then it will lead you to God. Jyotish also, Ayurveda also, Dharma, Kam, Moksha, Nam, Arogya, Mula, Muktanam. So if one attains perfection in any field, then one will ultimately go to God, because He is the source of all perfections. And that is possible if one works according to one's nature. One hones one's acquired nature and then works in that field, then one will come close to God. Because this energy is coming from Him. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Svesve karmani abhirata samsiddhim yati manava. Being situated in own karma, engaged in one's own duties, one will attain samsiddhi, perfection. This is the principle he brings out many times in Bhagavad Gita. And he was hammering Arjuna so much left and right to make this point.
I missed your words when you said which is the vritti of the kshatriya.
Vritti means by which you exist. Vritu vartane. So it means two things. You exist because you have that nature. So that is the power to protect. And also you give protection, so that is your job, your duty.
Today everything is so mixed up. Is there still any value left in ascertaining your vana and developing those qualities, working according to that quality?
Yeah, there is value, as much value as it was before. Because you have to work. Then, nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishthatya karma kriti, cannot live without working. So you only have two choices, that you work according to your nature or you work against your nature. And both give different results. So working against your nature is not going to give you perfection for sure, nor job satisfaction. will only give you dissatisfaction and anxiety, frustration also. So even though so many things are mixed, but still everybody has got something which is more than others. And the mixing is there is no doubt about it. But still there is one thing which is prominent. Previously when they were talking about Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, then they also had the other natures, but their own nature was very, very prominent. If somebody is a Brahmana, then his nature, Brahmanical nature was very, very prominent. But it does not mean that there was absolutely no tendency for the others, because the modes, these gunas are always mixed. Now, instead of being very, very prominent, it is just prominent. Not even very prominent in most people, but something will always be prominent. So that is what we can research, investigate. So now we can do more than one thing, trying to figure out that maybe there are two things which are very close and prominent. So you can do mixed duties.
In the age of integral spirituality.
So this is a melting pot. So things are melted, but still everything is not completely fudged.
And the definition of Brahmana is one who studies the Vedas.
Yes.
Right now, today there's so many things you can study. You can study political science, I don't know, I'm out of touch, law, and other things. Are these people also designated the label Brahmana?
Well, the Brahmanas studying Veda basically means ultimately studying to know the Absolute. Because when people study political science or some other science, they are studying ultimately for artha, for economical benefit. But if they study political science purely, just to study political science, then they will also reach higher levels of understanding. And they can also be Brahmanas.
Didn't bring my torch. Loose connection.
Usually it's difficult to turn it off.
Engineer hot oil lamp.